Now you know you're a loser when you get friend zoned by a corpse. What up y'all, it's the Black Critic Guy, and today I'm here to review the anime Corpse Princess, otherwise known as Shikabane Hime in the Japanese dub. And I gotta say, this is a really well done anime with a lot of depth, a lot of emotions, great characters, everything. So the basic premise of Corpse Princess is it follows this kid by the name of Ori Kagami, who is this average boy who lives in an orphanage, and one day he discovers a very shocking truth that his brother Keisei is part of this organization that have these beings known as Shikabane Hime who hunt these other things called Shikabane, who are these humans who have passed on, but since they had regrets, are reborn again with immortal life, but they're not human, they're more demonic. And after discovering his brother's shocking secret, he decides to move out of the orphanage and start a life of his own, but ends up time and time again being pulled back into his brother's lifestyle of fighting these Shikabanes with Shikabane Hime. And the one Shikabane Hime that he has an attachment towards is the Shikabane Hime by the name of Makina, who's actually his brother Keisei's Shikabane Hime. And it follows these three characters as one learns about the secret of what Shikabane are and Shikabane Hime, and they fight and duel with these Shikabanes. So I was recommended to watch this anime by one of my subscribers, TG5455, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed this anime. It has so much emotional depth, and it actually tackles on morals that I never thought would be in this anime. One thing that I really liked in this anime that I mentioned was how they tackled on the morals of like, what's human, what's dead, what's alive, who is this, can you love a Shikabane Hime, all these stuff are like fighting these different morals these characters have. And actually the main character Ori, his morals are like, okay, if they're walking, they're talking, they have a human characteristic, they're alive, but other people treat Shikabane Hime as they're objects, they're not alive, they have no real feelings at all. But Ori sees Shikabane Hime as more than just shields to protect their contracted money. He sees them as humans, as people with emotions. Whether they're alive or dead, it doesn't matter. They're still human. They have human emotions, human characteristics, and I really related to that character. Like, even though they're dead, even though they're no longer part of the living, they're still humans. They have human emotions and feelings. There's some great character development and depth in this show. Every character is well developed. You understand their backstories, where they come from, why they became Shikabane, or why they became Shikabane Hime, or why they chose to be contracted monks. Every character was well developed, relatable to a degree. There are a few characters that really stood out to me. Like I said, Ori, I really related to him in his moral dilemma of, are Shikabane Hime objects or are they human? Do they feel? Can they love? And all that stuff. I related to his character that way, and I felt like he was a really well developed and a full circle development for his character. Starting off as a character that doesn't really understand and didn't want to be a part of it, to a character that fully understands and now wants to help these Shikabane move on to the next life. And also Makina, this awesomely badass Shikabane Hime who just goes around, kicks all the Shikabane's asses, and you really get a real strong development of her character. You understand why she has regret, why she became a Shikabane Hime, and why she chose the person to be her contracted monk is. You really get some depth to her character. You understood her character. And also we got Keisei, who's kind of the comic relief character, but also can handle the serious emotions and serious tones in the anime. He's a well-developed character. He's very awesome. He was fun to watch. I loved his character out of all the characters in the show, actually. And one thing that I really liked about this anime is how they really developed the antagonists of the show to where you can actually understand where they're coming from, and they're doing evil for the sake of good. There's this one character who's referred to as the traitor monk, and I really thought his character development was handled excellently. Like, you kind of understood where he was coming from. You didn't hate him, you just pitied him because of the situation in his life that he had to go through, and you understood where he was coming from. One thing that this anime does that no other anime has done before is they actually explain why it's only girls that can become like these Shikabane Himes that can kill other Shikabanes, and why guys can't be it. They actually took the time to explain why that is, and I was so shocked because normally they just throw it in because, you know, oh well, they're girls, they're fan service, that's why we did it. But there's actually a deeper reason behind why it's only girls that can become Shikabane Hime that's revealed later on. And I was like, wow, thank you for doing that. I didn't see that coming. I was pleasantly surprised. The action and animation is handled excellently in this anime. It's crisp, it's clean, you can see the blows, you can see the fights, they look awesome. And lastly, the voice acting is excellent in this anime. This is the best I've heard from Lucy Christian as Machina. I was actually very shocked because normally Lucy Christian plays these very loud, high-pitched, annoying girls like Ten Muscomato in School Rumble, but in this one she was more mellow, more calmer. Her voice fluctuations actually emoted very well. You can actually hear the emotions in her voice, and I thought Lucy Christian did a knockout job in this anime. Some other standout performances would be J. Michael Tatum as Keisei. He always does a phenomenal job every time I hear him. And also Josh Grail, who plays the traitor monk. Now, at first his voice was kind of low and you really couldn't hear it, but you can actually hear the fluctuations in his voice. You can actually hear the emotions. He did a phenomenal job, and he's also the same guy that voices Akihisa from Baka and Test, and you guys know I love Baka and Test, and I'm starting to like Josh Grail more and more as I hear him, and I think he's a phenomenal voice actor. And speaking of voice acting, now we jump into a few things that I didn't like about this anime, and the biggest thing that I didn't like about this anime was the voice actor for Ori. He was terrible! This kid, Aaron Dismuki, does a terrible job at portraying the character of Ori. Every emotional scene where he's supposed to like fluctuate his voice to sound like he's sad or angry, it just doesn't sound believable. It sounds so fake, so forced. While the other characters sounded natural, he didn't sound natural at all. And what ruined the character of Ori for me was the voice acting. He was a well-developed character, but the voice actor was terrible. Another problem that I have with this anime is that in the middle of the series, they throw in this other side character who really doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of the anime. The only reason they threw this character in was to add extra tension later on down the line in the series, but overall if they took this character out, it wouldn't have made a difference. And speaking of characters, I really would have loved to see more development of Ori's friends, especially because one of them is Lord Koima himself, Sean T. He voices one of his friends. I forget what his name is, but you really don't see them that much, and you kind of forget about them later on in the series. There's also this other character who's always all Google-eyed for the newest girl with the biggest breasts, and I was like, I like that character, he's funny. I would have loved to see more of him. And my last and probably my biggest con is that the ending was handled terribly. It pulls a Mushishi and makes all of the main characters side characters. In fact, I think you see them once and then they disappear. Instead of giving us a full resolution of this fight, because there was this fight happening and it said to be continued. And then the next episode is this totally irrelevant story about these two side characters that were relevant early on in the series but aren't anymore because they're gone, and they bring them back to develop their story. I was like, of all the side characters to develop, I understand why the development of their character in this episode was handled well, but if it was early on in the series, I would have been okay with it. Making that the last episode, that's bullshit. I wanted to see the end of that fight. I wanted to see Machina and Ori develop further in their relationship, and instead of giving us a full closure ending to where the fight ends, they end on a cliffhanger to make you think, oh, what happens? Do they win in the fight? Do they not win in the fight? You don't know what happens because they ended abruptly and give you a side story that is irrelevant and doesn't need to be the last episode. I was so mad. I was sitting there saying, you gotta be kidding me. This is the last episode? This is the last episode? I mean, what? So overall, I really enjoyed Corpse Princess. I thought the development and chemistry between characters was handled excellently. The action scenes and animation is superb. The voice acting is superb. And I really loved how they threw in some comedy and humor to this really sad and dreary atmosphere of death and all that stuff. I thought they handled that very well, and I'm going to give this anime a 4 out of 5 stars. It's definitely worth watching. But anyway, what did you guys think of this anime? Did you like it a lot? Did you hate it? Did you not like the ending like I did? And let me know, what is your favorite apparition anime? You know, like apparitions fighting other apparitions, apparitions fighting people. Comment below and let me know. Also, stay tuned this Thursday where we'll be discussing Pixar movies on my radio show, The Final Cut. And it'll be this Thursday from 4 to 5 p.m. and I hope you guys tune in. Till then, I'm the Black Critic Guy, bridging the gap between movies and anime reviews. Till then, peace, YouTube.